There was a very wealthy merchant who owned many farms in the countryside, raising many kinds of livestock. He, his wife, and his son retired to his own farm and took care of the profitable business. God had given him the gift of hearing the language of animals, but on one condition. After hearing, he could not tell anyone, otherwise he would lose his life. Therefore, although he knew everything, he never dared to tell anyone what he had heard the animals say. In a barn, a cow and a donkey were kept together. One day, while sitting next to the barn watching the children play, he suddenly heard the cow say to the donkey, "Donkey, seeing you are so idle, the work people have made you do is not much. I see you are so happy. Someone is taking care of brushing your fur, bathing you, bringing you carefully sifted barley to eat, and giving you cool, clear water to drink. Your hardest work was to give your boss a ride whenever he needed to go around a bit. Without that, your whole life would be spent in idleness. It was completely different from the way people treated me. The more comfortable you were, the more difficult I was. Before midnight, they put a yoke on my neck. Then I worked my back and plowed all day. There were days when I was so tired that I wanted to collapse right there on the spot. Not to mention the plowman behind me who was always ready to whip my butt. Pulling the plow too much made my neck bleed. After having to work all day from morning to evening, when I came home at night, they threw me a bunch of hay without even bothering to pick up the sand and other things mixed in with the hay. What was even more miserable was that after eating 3 bites of that unappetizing food, I was forced to sleep on my own shit. You see, I envy your fate. The donkey did not interrupt the cow. It let it talk until it was satisfied, then said, "People say it is not an exaggeration to say that it is stupid like a cow. You are so stupid. You let people treat you however they want. You never decide anything properly. But look, you have endured so much injustice. What have you gained in the end? You have killed the body for the leisure, pleasure, and profit of those who have treated you disrespectfully. People would not have treated you like that if you had courage as strong as your strength. When people led you to the pen, why didn't you resist? Why don't you raise your horns and gore a few times? Why don't you stomp your feet to show your anger? And finally, why don't you know how to roar terribly to scare people? Heaven has given you the ability to make others respect you, but you don't know how to use it. Whenever people bring in rotten grass and rotten straw, don't eat it. Just put your nose to it and then throw it away. If you follow my advice, your life will change, and you will be grateful to me. Just watch." Believing the donkey, the cow thanked him profusely. "My dear donkey, I will not forget to do exactly what you told me, and you will see that I have done the right thing." Having said that, the 2 animals fell silent. The merchant listened without missing a word. The next day, the plowman came very early, took the ox out to plow and made it do its daily work. Not forgetting the donkey's advice, that day the ox was very fierce. In the evening, when the plowman led it back to the barn and wanted to tie it back to its original place, the mischievous animal did not obediently offer its neck for the person to tie it, but instead acted unruly, jerking back, bleating, and sticking its head out, its sharp horns pointing out as if it wanted to butt the plowman. It did all the mischievous things that its donkey friend had shown it. The next morning, the plowman came to take the ox to work, but saw that the trough was still full of straw and grass. While the ox was lying prone, its legs stretched out and breathing strangely heavily. Thinking the ox was sick, he pitied it, thinking it was cruel to force the animal to work in this situation. So he returned to inform the merchant. The merchant knew that the ox had followed the donkey's advice. To punish him appropriately, he told the plowman, "Come and drag the donkey to the plow. Force it to plow instead of the ox, and remember to make it strong." The plowman obeyed. All that day the donkey was forced to pull the plow. Because it was not used to the work, it became even more tired. Moreover, it was whipped so many times that when it got back to the pen, it could no longer stand. Meanwhile, the ox was very pleased. It ate everything in the trough and rested all day. The ox was pleased to have listened to the donkey's advice. It prayed for the donkey's favor. And when the donkey returned from work, the ox did not forget to utter a few words of praise. The donkey did not reply. It was upset because it had been treated so cruelly. It said to itself, "It was my carelessness that led to this situation. Before everything was good, I got whatever I wanted. It was my fault that this miserable situation had come to this. If I couldn't think of a plan to escape this situation, I would surely die. Thinking of this, the donkey felt so exhausted that he fell down beside the trough of grain as if he were about to die. At this point, the vizier said to Scheherazade, "My daughter, you are behaving exactly like that donkey. You are bringing yourself to death by your own carelessness. Listen to me. Rest at ease. Do not bring disaster upon yourself." Scheherazade replied, "My father, the example you have just given me is not enough to change my will. I will not stop bothering you until you let me enter the palace to become the emperor's wife." Seeing that his daughter was still stubborn, the vizier said, "All right, since you are stubborn, I am forced to treat you in the way the merchant I just mentioned treated his wife a short time later." The story is like this. Knowing that the donkey was in a miserable state, the merchant was curious to know what could have happened between it and the cow. So after dinner, on a moonlit night, he took his wife out to sit with him near the stable. As soon as he arrived, he heard the donkey talking to the cow. "My friend, please tell me what you intend to do tomorrow morning when the plowman brings you hay?" The cow replied, "What will I do? I will continue to do exactly as you showed me. First I will retreat, then I will show him my horns exactly as I did yesterday. I will pretend to be sick. I will act as if I were about to die." "Please be careful not to do that," the donkey interrupted the cow. "That is a way to get you killed. Because this afternoon when I came home from work, I heard our boss's merchant say something that I am worried about you." "What is it?" the cow asked quickly. "Please don't hide anything from me, my dear donkey." "Our master," continued the donkey, "said these sad words to the plowman. Since the ox refuses to eat and can no longer stand, I want to have it slaughtered tomorrow. Its meat will be given to the poor for charity. As for its hide, it may be useful, so take it to the tanner. So tomorrow morning, don't forget to call the butcher." "That's what I wanted to tell you," continued the donkey. "Because of these words and because of the friendship between us, I feel it necessary to inform you clearly and give you new advice. First of all, when the straw and grass are brought to you, stand up and eat voraciously and greedily. Seeing this, the master will think you are cured, and perhaps he will revoke the order to slaughter you. If you don't do as I told you, your life is over." These words had the effect the donkey had expected. The cow was so frightened that it bellowed in terror. The merchant, who had been listening attentively to the two animals' conversation, burst out laughing, much to the surprise of his wife, who was sitting beside him. She asked her husband, "What is so funny that you laugh so loudly?" "Please tell me so that I can laugh with you." "Honey, just listen to me laugh," replied the merchant. "No,
what is it
I want to
that
know
makes
why you
laugh
laugh.
so loudly?
I cannot satisfy my own desire. Just know that I laughed at what the donkey just said to the cow. Know that, and there is a secret that I am not allowed to reveal." "Who forbids you to tell me?" the wife insisted. "Know that if I tell it, I will lose my life immediately." "You despise me," the wife cried. "What you said is not true. If you do not tell me the truth why you laughed just now, if you refuse to tell me what the donkey said to the cow, I swear to heaven and earth that you and I will no longer be husband and wife." Having said this, she went into the house, sat in a corner, and cried like rain and wind all night until morning. The husband had to go to bed alone. The next morning, seeing that his wife had not stopped complaining, he said, "You are so sad. You are really unreasonable. It is not worth it for you to do such a thing. For you, it is not important knowing what the two animals said to each other, while for me, keeping the secret is much more important. Please, I beg you not to think about it anymore." "I keep thinking," the wife replied. "I will keep crying, wondering until you satisfy my curiosity. But I tell myself seriously, if I listen to your pleading, I will lose my life. No matter what happens, I will not stop. So there is no way to make you listen to reason, because if you are so stubborn, you will die of sadness. Therefore, I will call the children back so that they can have the consolation of seeing their mother before she passes away." The merchant called his children and also sent someone to invite his wife's parents to come. When the family was gathered together, he told everyone the whole story. Everyone gathered around to advise the woman that her stubborn persistence was wrong, but she would not listen to anyone. Despite her biological parents' explanations that what she wanted to know was not important, even the authority and reasoning of both biological parents did not have the slightest impact on their daughter. The children, seeing their mother ignoring all good and right reasons, cried loudly in the house. Even the merchant was confused, not knowing how to act. Sitting alone by the door, he thought about the possibility of sacrificing his own life to save the life of his wife, whom he loved very much. Fortunately, my daughter, the vizier continued to Scheherazade. That merchant kept 50 hens and a rooster. He entrusted a dog to look after the flock. While he was sitting by the door, thinking deeply about what he would do, he suddenly saw the dog saying to the rooster that was mating with the hen, "Hey, rooster, God will not let you live much longer. Aren't you ashamed of what you are doing?" The rooster turned around and proudly replied, "Why did you forbid me to do what I do every day today? That's because you don't know. Today the master of the house is having a great sorrow. His wife wants him to reveal a secret, and if it is revealed, he will lose his life." That's what happened. But the terrible thing is that he wasn't strong enough to face his wife's stubbornness because he loved her so much, he couldn't bear her tears that kept pouring out. "Our master's going to die. The whole family's in a panic over it. You alone seem to be cursing all of us. You are just playing around with your hens." The rooster responded to the dog's reproaches as follows. "Our master is really careless. He has only one wife and doesn't know how to arrange things properly, while I have 50 hens and they are all in order. He should calm down and find a way out of his confusion." "What do you think he should do?" asked the dog. "He should go into his wife's private room, fasten the door, and take a stick and beat her 100 times. I'm sure she'll understand, and then she won't dare to force her husband to tell her that secret anymore." As soon as he heard what the rooster said, the merchant stood up. He grabbed a big stick, went to find his wife, led her into the room, locked the door closed, and beat her so well that she had to beg, "Enough, enough, my dear. Please forgive me. I dare not ask anything more of you." Hearing this, knowing that his wife had given up her unreasonable curiosity, the husband stopped beating her. He opened the door. The whole family rushed in, happy to see that the woman had recovered from her stubbornness. Everyone praised the merchant for having found a way to make his wife become sensible. "My daughter, you deserve to be treated like that merchant's wife." "Father," replied Scheherazade, "please do not call me stubborn if I still stick to my opinion. The story of that merchant's wife cannot sway me. I could tell you many other things to persuade you not to obstruct my intention. Moreover, please forgive me if I dare to say this. Please do not hinder me in vain. If the fatherly feeling prevents you from accepting my request, I will come and ask the emperor directly." Finally, losing the argument before his daughter's determination, the vizier had to comply with his daughter. And although he was very sad because he could not persuade his daughter to change her disastrous intention, he still went to see Saria at that moment to inform her that the next night he would bring Scheherazade to serve the king. The king was very surprised at the vizier's self-denial toward him. "How can you decide to bring your own daughter to serve me?" "Your Majesty, I offered myself willingly," replied the vizier. "The sad fate that awaits me does not frighten me at all. I want to lean on the side of the royal boat for one night, even if I die." "But Grand Chancellor," the emperor said again, "do not misunderstand. Tomorrow morning when I return Scheherazade to you, I want you to end her life. If you do not do it, I swear to execute you." "Your Majesty," the Grand Chancellor replied, "my heart will certainly be broken when I have to obey your orders. But despite the father-daughter relationship, despite the fact that I am the father, my arm remains loyal to your Majesty." Saria agreed to the Grand Chancellor's offering and told him to bring his daughter to the palace at any time. The Grand Chancellor returned to tell the news to Scheherazade. She was overjoyed, as if it were the best news in the world. She also thanked her father for his wholehearted help. He was silent with pain. To console her father, she said she hoped he would not regret marrying his daughter to the emperor. On the contrary, he might take it for joy from now until the end of his life. All she had to do was to dress herself up to meet the emperor. But before she left, she called Dinasat aside and said, "My dear sister, I need your help in a very important matter. I beg you not to refuse. Father is going to take me to the palace to be the emperor's wife. Do not be alarmed by this news, but listen patiently to what I have to say. When I am before the king, I will beg him to allow you to sleep with me in the bridal chamber, so that I may spend another night with you. If he agrees, which I hope he will, remember to wake me early tomorrow morning, an hour before sunrise. Say this: Sister, if you are not asleep, I beg you, while you wait for the morning to come, tell me one of the most interesting stories you know. I will tell you a story at once, and I hope that in this way I can free our people from their present state of panic and fear. Dinazat replied, I am ready to do anything you need me to do. When it was time to go to bed, the vizier led Scheherazade to the palace and left immediately after taking her to the king's private room. The king, seeing that he was alone with her, immediately ordered her to remove her veil. The king realized that she was so beautiful that he himself was captivated. Seeing her in tears, he asked the reason. Scheherazade replied, Your Majesty, I have a younger sister whom I love as much as she loves me. I wish to have you sleep with me tonight in this room so that I may see you and have the opportunity to bid you farewell once more. Would Your Majesty be pleased to grant me the consolation of expressing to my sister my feelings for her one last time? Saria agreed and sent for Dinazad. She came immediately. The king slept with Scheherazade on a very high bed, in the style of kings of the East. Dinazat lay on the lower bed, which was placed next to the bed. An hour before dawn, Dinazat woke up and did not forget to do as her sister had told her. She said, My dear sister, if you are not asleep, I beg you, while you wait for the dawn to come, tell me one of the pleasant stories you know. Alas, perhaps this is the last time I shall enjoy such pleasure. Scheherazade did not answer her sister, but said to the king, Your Majesty, will you please allow me to satisfy my sister's request? With pleasure, replied the king. So Scheherazade told her to listen. Then addressing the king, she began to tell the story as follows.